Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, has assured Nigerians that the National Assembly will carefully balance public interest with the need to reform the country's revenue system while considering 4 tax bills currently before the Parliament. House of Reps speaking at the public hearing on the tax reform bills on Wednesday, Abbas emphasized that taxes must be fair, transparent, and justifiable, ensuring that they support public revenue without placing excessive burdens on individuals and businesses. He pledged that the House will thoroughly scrutinize the bill to align them with the best interests of Nigerians. More so, according to Taiwo Oyedele, chairman of the Presidential Committee of Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, the ongoing tax reform would accelerate the economic growth of Nigeria when it comes into operation. However, the chief economist at SPM Professionals, Dr. Paul Alaje, disagrees with Oyedele, saying that there are significant concerns in the proposed reform that must be addressed. So joining us now on the show to review the 2-day public hearing on Nigerian tax reform bill is Toyin Elegbede, Secretary, Nigeria Economic Zones Association, representing all companies in the free trade zones. Great to have you, sir. What's your take on this move to remove the benefits of the free trade zone and say you people have to pay taxes? I'm sure that's a matter that concerns you. What were the points enunciated and marshaled, by your Association of Free Trade Zone? And tell me of some of the, activities of the free trade zone as regards bringing productivity to Nigeria, and make a strong case why the attempts to make the free trade zone pay taxes is not a good one.
No. Thank you very much, Rufai and the crew at Arise News. Thank you for having us to present our position again. You see, our position has been consistent, and that is what we are pushing at the National Assembly. Our position is that free zones are established in Nigeria for a purpose. That is to stimulate economic activities and promote SMEs, create jobs, bring in foreign direct investments. And that has been the practice all along since free zones were created more than 30 years ago. Now, this Nigerian Tax Bill 2024 seeks to now shift the goalposts in the middle of the game. What we are saying consistently is that there are some provisions in the Nigerian Tax Bill 2024 that seeks to now shift burden of importers into the Nigerian custom territory to the free zone enterprises and management who are exporting. I call it exporting. We call it local export. Exporting into the Nigerian custom territory. You see, there has been argument both by MAN and the drafters of the bill that they are trying to create a level playing field for free zone for the manufacturers in the Nigerian custom territory. But what they have forgotten to add is that the free zones in Nigeria have created jobs. They have promoted SMEs. They contribute to the national treasury. If you know how much free zones contribute into the national treasury, you will discover that these people have been overstressed. They have been overstretched. And if this bill is passed as it is, then we are saying bye-bye to free zones in Nigeria. And let me assure you of something, and Manufacturing Association of Nigeria should take note of this. You see, if the free zones are forced to leave Nigeria, their problem won't be solved. They will still face the same problem. The problem MAN is facing, and not making them competitive, is largely due to lack of infrastructure in the Nigerian custom territory. These challenges have been taken care of by free zones with their investment Is it road? Is it 24/7 electricity? Everything. So instead of attacking free zones and free zone incentives, I think Nigerian government should concentrate in making the business environment in the Nigerian Custom Territory more attractive, and which will make them to be more productive. It's not by attacking free zones. Their problem will still remain. They will face competition also from exporters from China, from Turkey, from all over the world. But the thing is that Nigeria will lose. There will be job losses, there will be capital flight, and our neighboring countries are waiting. They are waiting to accept our investors with friendlier policies. And that has been our position.
All right.
We have two issues that we are pushing into the. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, Mr. Elegbede, thank you so much. Now, before we even get, I'm glad that you started talking about the issue of the tax reform bills, and I believe that there have been concessions made. So you're asking for 100% exemption of exports, of taxes on exports, and I think that's been considered. But I want you to also talk about, before we even get to taxes, the fact that the federal government, through the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, has said that the performances of the zones have been underwhelming. Now, if you compare Nigeria, which has one of the largest free zone areas on the African continent with about 200 and counting, if you compare it to like a country like Morocco, the contribution to the country's GDP is significant, and that despite the fact that you've been able to attract some investment as well as leverage government support, it's generally underwhelming, sorry. And so what are the challenges there, and what are the measures to ensure that you're able to tackle these challenges even more importantly? Because yes, we can agitate and raise concerns around the impact of the tax reform bills, but if you're not even being productive as you ought to be, then what is the justification for even more support to be enjoyed by the free zone economic zones in Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ayo, for raising that issue. We have been discussing this in the free zone community. We have identified factors that are limiting the productivity of the free zones. Last week, we had our annual meeting where this was exhaustively discussed. The minister was there, and we came up with strategies. We have strategies, but I can assure you that, you see, in Nigeria, there are so many challenges facing both investors in the free zones and in the Nigerian Custom Territory. For the free zones, we have challenges. I've just told you about the cost of business, even in the free zones. This has stunted the growth of free zones in Nigeria. And that is why we are so concerned about this additional burden on the free zones. This will further kill it. We thank the Honorable Minister who assured us that she's already looking into those issues, those limiting factors, and that it will be addressed. I can assure you, if you know the cost of business, of doing business, even in the free zones, you will discover that free zones are not that profitable. Free zones businesses are not that profitable in Nigeria. Compared to Morocco, the Tangier-Med free zones, if you look at the incentives being offered to Tangier-Med free zones, the infrastructure provided by the Moroccan government in that zone, compared to what is happening in Nigeria, you will see that the difference is very clear. And that is what is making them more productive, contributing to the GDP than the Nigerian free zones. But thankfully, the Honorable Minister has assured that the ministry and the authorities have also realized that, and they are coming up with strategies to address that. I can assure you that by the time those challenges are addressed, free zones in Nigeria will compete with any other free zones in the world.
Mr. Elegbede, good morning. I'm pleased to hear that you have good intentions moving forward. But is it not the case that those trying to, in a way, get rid of what is free in the free zone, see that you're not actually producing? I mean, the problems you're having in the free zone is the same problem people outside the free zones are having, and they are productive. You do not seem to be. I think that is the case, to say that what's the point of this special treatment you're getting when you're not getting any result? That is a strong argument against you, I put to you, yes.
No, Prof. That is very wrong. Yes. Who says we are not productive?
Other people, not me. You know I'm a fan of free zones.
Go to the free zones.
Yes.
Okay, yes, Prof. Thank you. You see, let them go to the free zones. They can accuse us of not being productive. Let them go to the free zones. I doubt. Let me tell you, Prof. I doubt if any of the drafters of the Nigerian tax bill, if any of them, has entered a free zone in Nigeria to see the level of activity there. I doubt it. Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, who was at our annual general meeting last week in Lagos, was meeting with free zone investors as a group for the first time. If they had consulted us prior to drafting the bill, there are ways they would have, maybe Mr. Taiwo Oyedele saw Eko Atlantic free zones while coming for a meeting in Victoria Island. But I doubt if he has visited any other free zones. I can tell you, there are activities going on. We are producing. Don't let anybody deceive you.
Yeah. Well, we have visited free zone many times, so I won't be deceived. But the point is this. I think if you're getting a special treatment from the Nigerian government, your association, and all your colleagues, you have a duty to publicize the benefit you are giving us as Nigerians. Let us know the number of jobs you've created. Let us know how many enterprises you have groomed. We have done some workshops there. We've done some clinic hubs to grow things. So I think the world needs to know so that they know what we're going to miss. At the moment, you're in a position where we don't know what you're giving us, so we can just take it away easily. So what's your plan in that line to let us know what you're really doing? We can't all visit it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prof. Actually, you are right in that. Maybe we are not telling our own stories. We are allowing others who don't really know much about free zones to tell our stories. We have realized that, and we are going to do that. We are publishing all the benefits that Nigeria is getting from the free zone scheme very, very soon. We are already telling the National Assembly at the public hearing, and we will continue to do so. We will use the media to let Nigerians know what we are doing. And Nigerians will really see that Nigeria is benefiting from the free zone scheme.
Okay. You see, I think, let me play the devil's advocate here, like I do most of the time. I think another argument a lot of people have against the free trade zone is the way and the manner in which some areas have been given this free trade zone status. Example, correct me if I'm wrong, is Eko Atlantic not a free trade zone?
It is.
So a lot of people will say, a Riviera in Victoria Island, high-rate real estate market, why is it being given a free trade zone status? Because you were talking about production in the free trade zone. Can you tell me one production, goods and services, goods that is going on in Eko Atlantic? Yes, services are there, yes. Real estate, restaurants and everything, television station, which are all enjoying free taxes now as we speak because they are in the free trade zone. Can you tell me one good productive goods or productive activity going on there? Because these are some of the concerns. So out of the over 650 billion, you have generated the more than government revenue, and 30 billion you've got in investment. That's why some people are saying this free trade zone is just like an RNG thing for people and their cronies. And that's why probably Taiwo might be saying, let's tax them. And it might put that Eco-Atlantic argument forward. Because it's an argument that you can't deny. So, okay, apart from the real estate there, what is the production going on in Eco-Atlantic? And why did it get a free trade zone status?
In the first place.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, thank you, Rufi. You see, there's this misconception that free zones are only for export. That is wrong. Modernization is setting all over the world. Actually, what we have is special economic zones. When people hear free zones, they believe everything is free and so on. And don't forget the purpose of establishing the Eco-Atlantic Free Zone. You and I, we know what Victoria Island used to be, flooding every year. And the government came up with the idea of bringing in experts to tackle that problem, the erosion problem, flood problem. And now a world standard facility is being done there at the Eco-Atlantic Free Zone. Let me tell you, all zones are not meant for export. We have special economic zones. Just like we have Eco-Atlantic Free Zone that is there for real estate and for tackling the problem of erosion and flood. We also have other free zones that are not exactly export-oriented. There's a zone, for instance, called Itana Digital Free Zones. They don't export anything. Eco-Atlantic, what do they export? Is this sand?
No. But you are not getting my question. This is the argument a lot of people are making. Eco-Atlantic is a hub for the rich. If they are building their homes, their private homes and everything there, the economic benefit is to mostly the rich people, which a lot of people are arguing that we can still take their taxes and do other things with it in the country. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. Say, for instance, I'll give you a cursory look of the top 10 free trade zones here in Africa. Mauritius, cold room, processing units and all of that. Mauritius, Freeport. Gabon, what's it called? Multi-sector park like wood manufacturing and all of that. Tangier. We are seeing an integration, automotive, aerospace, Lekki, logistics, warehousing, Suez. We are seeing things are going on there. Well, a lot of people are saying, yes, we solve the problem of erosion. But Eco-Atlantic is just like a hub for the rich and it's just like their own playground. So why can't that taxes come to, why was it even made a special business interest zone? The area could be mapped around like an estate at Sanfield and still be allowed, to be able to get some taxes out. These are some of the arguments Taiwo might have.
Yeah.
You are arguing because I'm seeing the activity going on in Lekki Free Trade. I'm talking about Eco-Atlantic now. Why?
Yes, and other free zones, productive free zones, Alaro cities there.
But this one is just like Riviera
yes,
in
we
VI
know that.
For the rich, and you made it a free zone.
Look, it's a free zone. It's a free zone, and you are making one assumption, and that assumption is that the Eco-Atlantic Free Zone don't pay tax. Go and ask customs. Ask them how much they are getting from Eco-Atlantic Free Zone. It's not a free thing.
So why was it made a free zone? Sir, why was it made a free zone if it's not a free thing? Why was it given the status of a free trade zone?
It's not a free zone. It's not a tax-free. Why was he given what?
The status of a free trade zone.
Why was he given what?
Why was he given the status of a free zone?
Look, what are
free trade zone?
What are the taxes granted to free zones? They're talking of what they import into the country. Those are the taxes. And if you transact business in the custom territory, you pay the appropriate custom duty.
And so why was he given that status?
I can assure you that Eko Atlantic, it was given the status because Mr. President, it's only Mr. President that gives that status, for your information.
And why did they give
it's
it the
Mr.
status?
President that gives that status. Because Mr. President believes that it can be made a free zone.
It was Mr. President's discretion. It's not based on productivity. It was Mr. President's discretion. Not based on productivity.
Based on the recommendation of the authorities.
Going on in the Eko Atlantic to be able to get a free trade zone status. That's the question I've asked since.
Okay, it is. There is no.
Thank you so much.
There is none. Yeah.
Mr. Toyin Elegwede, thank you very much. I'm sure that some of the recommendations made by the Free Zone Committee would be put into consideration as we move forward with the joint tax bill. Thank you. Thank you.